There's a reason happiness feels impossible today. Not because you're broken, not because your life is worse than others, not because the world is unfair. It's because your mind is being pulled apart every single day, and no one taught you how to protect it. Before we start, subscribe and comment one thing. What has been stealing your happiness lately? Let's begin. Most people aren't unhappy because something terrible happened. They're unhappy because their mind is overloaded. Daniel wasn't depressed. He was just tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. Every morning he woke up already mentally full. Notifications, expectations, random thoughts, unfinished tasks. All of it piled up until joy had no room to exist. Monks call this mental dust. It's small, harmless and constant, and it clouds every moment. Silence didn't feel peaceful to Daniel. It felt uncomfortable, because stillness forced him to face the truth. He wasn't living. He was reacting. He wasn't experiencing life. He was escaping it. Happiness can't land in a crowded mind. It's not something you add. It's what appears when you remove the noise. Your first job isn't to be happier. It's to clear space. Lesson 2. The myth of when I finally. Daniel lived his whole life in the future. I'll be happy when became his personal religion. When he got promoted, when he moved out, when he fixed his sleep, when he finally became the version of himself he imagined at 2 a.m. But every time he reached one finish line, another appeared instantly. That's because the mind doesn't chase happiness. It chases distance. Monks call this the horizon illusion. The more you chase it, the more it moves. One monk told Daniel, joy doesn't wait at the end of effort. It hides inside effort itself that hit him harder than any failure. Happiness isn't delayed achievement, it's present awareness. You cannot enjoy the future if you never learned to inhabit the moment you're living. The more Daniel tried to outrun the present, the more unhappy he became. The cure wasn't a new milestone. It was realizing that life wasn't someday. It was now, and now had value long before he gave it permission. Lesson 3. Noise versus attention. Daniel wasn't unhappy because his life was chaotic. He was unhappy because his attention was. Every notification, every scroll, every background worry pulled his mind into 100 directions. He didn't realize that the real cost of distraction isn't time, it's presence. Monks say, where attention goes, emotion grows. And Daniel's attention was fractured. When he finally sat quietly without his phone, he noticed something. The silence felt uncomfortable, not peaceful. That's because silence exposes what noise hides. The more he sat, the clearer it became. He wasn't tired of life, he was tired of being yanked away from it. Happiness requires depth, not speed. It needs your attention long enough to take shape. Monks aren't happier because their lives are simpler, but because their minds stay with what they're experiencing. Daniel learned the truth. Your world isn't defined by the noise around you, but by the noise you allow inside you. Lesson 4. Desire inflation. Daniel didn't suffer from lack. He suffered from overload. The more he wanted, the less satisfied he became. Every new pleasure faded faster than the last. New clothes, new gadgets, new goals. Nothing stuck. Monks explained it simply. Desire expands faster than fulfillment. That's why modern people feel empty. They're chasing highs that decay instantly. Daniel realized he wasn't unhappy because life was small, but because his cravings were enormous. When he stopped feeding every impulse, something surprising happened. He started appreciating ordinary moments again. A meal tasted better. A conversation lasted longer. A quiet walk actually felt alive. Happiness didn't grow from adding more to his life. It grew from wanting less. Contentment is not the absence of ambition. It's the presence of clarity. And clarity taught Daniel that most of what he wanted wasn't meaningful. It was just stimulation disguised as purpose. Lesson 5. Comparison poison. Daniel didn't realize how much of his unhappiness came from other people's lives, not his own. Every scroll online chipped away at his confidence. Someone younger had more money, more beauty, more success. Monks call this self-extraction, the moment you stop living your life and start renting your self-worth from strangers. A monk asked him one question that changed everything. If you never saw their path, would you still hate your own? Daniel knew the answer. Comparison wasn't motivating him, it was suffocating him. Monks train by comparing only one thing: who they were yesterday versus who they are today. Once Daniel adopted this, progress finally became visible. He stopped chasing superiority and started chasing growth. And slowly, his happiness returned. Not because his life improved, but because he stopped measuring it with someone else's ruler. Lesson 6. The fear you avoid controls you. Daniel avoided discomfort like it was poison, tough conversations, emotional vulnerability, confronting his own flaws. Avoidance felt safe, but it slowly built a cage around his life. Monks taught him a truth society hides. Pain is not the enemy. Fear of pain is when Daniel finally sat with his emotions instead of running from them. They softened. Anxiety lost its sharpness. Sadness became understandable instead of scary. Anger turned into information. Emotions behave like storms, violent when resisted, gentle when allowed to pass. Daniel learned that each time he avoided discomfort, he made it stronger. Each time he faced it, he made himself stronger. Happiness comes not from perfect days, but from becoming resilient enough to survive imperfect ones. Peace is not escaping discomfort. It's no longer being threatened by it. Lesson 7. Joy is a practice. Daniel used to think happiness randomly happened, like weather. But monks taught him the opposite. Joy is trained. They build it through small rituals: morning light, clean spaces, slow tea, mindful meals, one intentional breath before every important action. These were not productivity hacks. They were anchors for the nervous system. When Daniel added simple rituals to his day, he noticed something. His mood stabilized. Joy didn't spike, it stayed. The brain needs repetition to know where happiness lives. When you practice joy deliberately, you start finding it more naturally. Daniel learned that happiness is not an emotion you wait for, it's a state you cultivate. The more he practiced, the more joy appeared in places he used to overlook. Happiness didn't arrive, it grew. Lesson 8. Stillness in a loud world. Daniel always believed peace required escaping the noise. Fewer responsibilities, fewer messages, fewer people demanding something from him. He thought happiness was somewhere quieter than his current life. But monks taught him a lesson that flipped his perspective. You don't need the world to be calm, only yourself. Stillness isn't silence, it's control. When Daniel learned conscious stillness, everything changed. Before reacting to bad news, he paused. Before replying to an argument, he breathed. Before spiraling into overthinking, he grounded himself in the present moment. These tiny moments of space became his shield. The world didn't stop being loud, but it stopped being overwhelming. He discovered that stillness is not passive, it's an act of strength. Monks say, a calm person is not untouched by storms. They simply don't become the storm. Daniel realized his unhappiness came from reacting instantly to everything. Once he slowed down, life stopped feeling like an attack and started feeling like something he could navigate. Stillness didn't remove his problems. It gave him the power to meet them. Lesson 9. Gratitude as perception, not emotion. Daniel always felt guilty when people told him to be grateful. How could he force an emotion he didn't feel? How could writing random blessings in a notebook magically fix his stress? Monks explained something crucial. Gratitude isn't a feeling, it's a filter. Instead of trying to feel grateful, Daniel started practicing noticing. Noticing the warm shower in the morning. Noticing the fact that he could breathe with no pain. Noticing that even when life got hard, something, even something small, remained steady. Gratitude wasn't about pretending everything was perfect. It was about recognizing that not everything was broken. Slowly, his mind shifted. Problems still existed, but they lost their total power. Joy didn't replace pain, it balanced it. Monks say, gratitude is not praise, it is perspective. Daniel learned that grateful people aren't happier because their lives are easier. They're happier because they've trained their eyes to see what others overlook. And once you learn to see, happiness becomes harder to lose. Lesson 10. Guarding the inner world. The final lesson monks gave Daniel was the most difficult. Happiness isn't found, it's protected. Daniel let everyone and everything pull at his mind. The news drained him. Certain people exhausted him. Social media convinced him his life was lacking. He had no boundary between the world outside and the world inside. Monks taught him the concept of the inner gate. You cannot control the storms of life, but you can decide what enters your mental home. Daniel started small, unfollowing accounts that created anxiety, limiting conversations with energy-draining people, reducing the mental noise he consumed. He became intentional about what he allowed to shape his thoughts, and as his inner world became cleaner, his happiness began to stabilize. He felt lighter, more focused, more resilient. The monks told him, "A peaceful mind is not an accident, it is a defended territory." Daniel finally understood, joy doesn't survive in a polluted environment. Once he guarded his inner world, everything else in life became easier. The question for you, Daniel's final lesson was simple, but life-changing. You can't control the world, but you can control what enters your mind. The monks taught him boundaries. What you consume, who you trust, what you allow to disturb you, which battles you fight. The moment Daniel stopped letting the world decide his emotional state, he became free. And that freedom, not pleasure, not success, was the source of real happiness.